Hello, mathematicians. Today we're going to be reading decimals. There are two rules when you are reading decimals. The first is that the decimal point is read as and. You just say the word and when you're reading a decimal point in a number. The second rule is that the last word you say is the name of the last place value that actually contains a digit. So let's look at some examples. This first number here, there's a 1 in the ones place. So I'll use my place value chart to put a 1 in the ones place. And then there's a 2 in this place to the right of the decimal, which is the tenths place. So to read this number, we read it as 1. And then to read the decimal, we say and then we say 2 tenths. 1 and 2 tenths. This number here, I see that there is a 0 in the tenths place. So my place value chart, I just have these zeros here for when I don't have a number tile. There's a 0. That 2 is 2 place values to the right of the decimal point. So 2 place values to the right of the decimal point is the hundredths place. So we would read this number as 1 and 2 hundredths. See, the second rule says that the last word you say is the name of the last place value that contains a digit. So when the 2 is there, it's 1 and 2 tenths. When the 2 is here, it's 1 and 2 hundredths. So I bet you know about this number here. This 2 is in the third place value to the right of the decimal. It's all the way over here, just off the screen. This is 1 and 2 thousandths. Let me take this place value chart away, and you can see again 1 and 2 tenths, 1 and 2 hundredths, 1 and 2 thousandths. All right, so that's the basics. Let's move on to another case. And in this case, sometimes you will run into decimal numbers that don't have any digits in the wholes place. Let me bring back the place value chart to show you this. So this number here, there's 0 wholes, so there's nothing to the left of the decimal. There's only a 2 in the tenths place. So a lot of times people will just say 2 tenths. You didn't hear an and in there, did you? Because I didn't read the decimal point. I just read 2 tenths. And then for this number over here, they'll read 2 hundredths. And this one here, 2 thousandths. So that's one way you will hear it read. But I prefer to actually pronounce the 0 here, the 0 in the ones place, because then I get to say the and it makes it really clear to the listener, oh, he said and. Now whatever comes after him saying and is going to be in the decimal places. So for example, this number here would be 0 and 2 tenths, 0 and 2 hundredths, 0 and 2 thousandths. So let me take this paper away so you can see how this looks here. This is either read 2 tenths, or I prefer 0 and 2 tenths, just to make it clear that, oh, the and means a decimal, and this 2 tenths is coming after the decimal. All right, now let's go on to the next step where we have numbers in the wholes places and the decimal places. If you can read a 3-digit number, you can read a decimal number. This looks like a lot here, but you would read this number. If this was just a 3-digit whole number, you'd read that 324, correct? Sometimes we get a little lazy and we say 324, but we can't do that anymore. When you're reading decimals, you can only use the word and when you're actually reading a decimal point. So we have to say this 324. Well, if you can read a 3-digit number, you can read this entire number. This would be 324 and 324 thousandths, because that last 4 is in the thousandths place. I'm going to bring this over here. I'm just going to make the decimal number. That's 324 thousandths. The thousandths is the last place value with a digit in it. So this is 324 and 324 thousandths. Let's go on to this one. I'll just make the decimal portion because I don't have 2 4s and 2 5s in this pack. So this is going to be 405. So 405 and 405 thousandths. And lastly, this one, 932. This number alone would be 932 thousandths. So we read this 932 and 932 thousandths. We have just one more page for you, and then I think you'll be pretty good at reading decimals. I'm putting all these rules together for these last few. What we're going to do is read the whole number amount first, then you say and for the decimal, and then you read the decimal amount. That's all there is to it when it comes to reading decimals. Once you have your place values down, you'll be a pro. Okay, this is 43 and, for the decimal point, 5 hundredths, because the 5 is in the hundredths place. 43 and 5 hundredths. Let's clear this one and go here. Maybe you should try to read this while I'm setting up. See if you can read it on your own. I read 624 and 73 thousandths. 624 and 73 thousandths. Last one. I dropped my 1. There it is. Okay, so that whole amount is 90. So 90 and this is 12. The last digit, or the place value, the last digit in it is the thousandths place. So it's 90 and 12 thousandths. So that's what you need to know when you're reading decimals. Read the whole number amount first, and then just say and when you get to the decimal, and then you can read the decimal amount.